The darkness of that winter's night is etched in my memory like a scar on my soul. I was just 5 years old, my eyes wide with fear as I clung to my mother's frail form. The chill of the cold air seeped into my tiny bones, but it was nothing compared to the icy grip of uncertainty that gripped our small apartment. The knock at the door came without warning, a sudden silence that shattered by the firm voice of a stranger. "Open up," he commanded, his tone devoid of empathy or compassion. I remember the sound of shattering glass as my mother's eyes met mine in a desperate plea for understanding. And then I saw him, a police officer with a holstered gun strapped to his hip, his face expressionless behind a mask of duty and obligation. A .357 Magnum pressed against my forehead, the weight of it like an anchor pulling me down into an abyss of despair. The world around us melted away as the officer spoke in a tone that seemed to suck the life out of my small body. "I'm looking for your father," he said, his words laced with a cold calculation that made my heart sink. My mother's eyes brimmed with tears, but I couldn't meet her gaze. I was too lost, too terrified. As the officer demanded answers, my mother's fragile frame shook with sobs. Her voice, so soft and gentle, barely above a whisper, spoke of love and loss, of dreams shattered like broken glass on concrete. The words hung in the air, heavy with sorrow, as she poured out her heart to this stranger who didn't care. I remember feeling adrift, lost at sea without a lifeline. My world shrunk to the confines of that small apartment, where my mother's fragile body struggled to hold me up. I clung to her, desperate for comfort and reassurance in a sea of uncertainty. And then the officer vanished as suddenly as he appeared, leaving behind an emptiness that felt like a void inside my chest. My mother held me close, her tears soaking into my tiny shoulders as she whispered words of love and promise. But I knew, deep down, that I was on my own now, forced to navigate a world without the gentle guidance of a parent. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, my childhood began to unravel like a frayed rope. I struggled to fit in with other children who had two parents, both working jobs and providing for their families. I felt like an outsider, a ghost haunting the edges of their playgrounds, always watching but never truly part of. My mother did her best to provide me with love and care, but she was too young, too fragile herself, and lacked the strength to navigate the complexities of raising two children alone. The weight of responsibility fell squarely on my shoulders, forcing me to grow up far too quickly. But even as I struggled to cope with this new reality, something strange began to happen within me. My mother's love poured into me like a river, filling every crevice and crack in my being. She taught me how to navigate the darkest corners of human emotion, showing me that empathy was not just a virtue, but a superpower. As I grew older, this gift only deepened, becoming almost telepathic. I could sense the emotions of those around me, feeling their joys and sorrows like an invisible umbilical cord connecting us all. This connection to my mother's heart gave me a unique perspective on the world, one that allowed me to see beyond the surface level and touch the hidden corners of the human experience. Now, as I look at my own daughters, 20 years old, with their own lives unfolding before them, I am filled with a sense of pride and gratitude. They are the world to me, shining stars that light up my darkness like tiny lanterns in the night. And though the scars of that fateful winter's night still linger, they remind me of the strength and resilience that resides within me, a testament to the power of love and connection to overcome even the darkest of realities. In the end, it was not the .357 Magnum that killed my inner child, but the cruel hand of circumstance. But as I look back on those fateful years, I realize that it was also my mother's love that saved me. A love so fierce and unyielding that it transformed me into the person I am today.